Welcome back to Day of the Day. Today we have some days on this day, for this day, by this day, in your face. Let's do some days today. Our first day is Pi Day, which only works in another one of those days that, I get it, it's clever, but only works in the American calendar, because you're the only people that date that way. And I think I'm just going to go ahead and try and do as much of Pi as I remember, which is basically just what I remember from one of the Pi songs. 3.14159.629 5355979. I probably went wrong somewhere. That's my guess. Tell me how wrong I am in the comments, if you want. National Children's Crafts Day. It's one of those things that's a little oddly specific. I get it. And it'd be really cool. It'd be one of those days that'd be really cool if you told schools. Because it's one of those days that, yeah, probably could. I mean, it's fall on a Saturday today. So that kind of, it'd have to become a relative day for this to work. The idea of school, because you'll also have like science weeks and stuff. But having a creative focused day, like, or even better, a full creative focused week. It'd be a really good outlet, especially for kids, because, you know, kids have a lot of energy, they have a lot of creative force that often just gets built up and not really used for anything. I don't know, maybe it's a good idea. What do you think? Let me know. National Potato Chip Day. You have to specify potato chips, because you call them potato chips and not crisps, where we call chips, where we call what you call fries chips, just to be confusing, I guess. I don't really care to talk about this anymore, so I'm gonna move on. National Write Down Your Story Day. I'm not sure if this is just the idea of promoting the idea of, if you have an idea, if you have an idea for a story, just write it down, just get it on paper. It's better being down somewhere than in just floating in your head to vanish. Or if it's to start writing an autobiography. Either way, I don't think my life has been super interesting enough to write an autobiography, and even if I was ever a person of significance, like, I don't like the... Actually, I'm kind of indifferent towards the word celebrity. I just think it's overused, because people who are not famous get old famous. But if I was ever a person of significance, I don't think I'd want to put out an autobiography. I'd be happy to tell stories, but from, you know, whatever, but I would want them to be stories I just remembered, and just be like, hey, here's a story, here's a fun anecdote, because it has more life to it. In regards to the other side, I am really good at coming up with individual things, like mechanics as far as games go, or like weapons for characters, or, you know, a motivation behind a character. If you give me existing characters, I could probably put together a story. But putting all those things together as myself, or like having all of the components go together and work together and combine together properly, is something I find to be a little difficult. I think that's why I prefer things like improv, or things like this, where I've been given, like, this isn't 100% improv, because obviously I think about it, I try and plan things a little, but a lot of it is improv. But it's with this consistent prompt, and it's a semi-consistent format. I like the prompts. I like having formats, and I have ideas for things that aren't exactly stories, that are presets, they're formats, they're, you know, they're designed to be expanded upon or used for other things. Starting with nothing is really difficult for me. Starting stuff at all, I find difficult. Like, once I get the ball rolling for something, like I have with this, I find it a lot easier. But it's that first push that is the difficult bit. And for our final day today, and I guess probably the outro as well, I'm going to hand over to a character, breaking the fourth wall slightly. But yeah, I'm going to go hand over to a character you may have seen before if you've watched the other videos. If you haven't, once you've watched this, go back to the beginning. Or if you've watched some of the... Go back. One of the video links at the end of the video will be to this playlist. So go watch the whole playlist if you haven't already. It'll make things like a lot more sense. But let me, ladies and gentlemen, introduce to you TJ Fancyman. Hello again. I am Theodore James Fancyman. Today, our final day, is National Learn About Butterflies Day. So I will be regaling to you some experts from the butterfly Wikipedia page. There's a lot of words in here I don't understand. And more importantly, don't know how to pronounce. So I'm looking for a good place to start. I'm sure you're aware. Butterflies are most commonly the fourth stage in our life cycle. Winged adults lay eggs on the food plant on which their larvae, known as caterpillar, will feed. The caterpillar grows, sometimes very rapidly, and when fully developed, will pupate in a chrysalis. When metamorphosis is complete, the pupal skin splits, the adult insect climbs out, and after its wings have expanded and dried, it flies off. Some butterflies, especially in the tropics, have several generations in a year, while others a single generation. And in a few cold locations may take several years to pass through a life cycle. Here is another interesting fact. The color that is regaled on the wings of the butterfly are covered in scales, and it is those scales that give it its color, pigmented with melanoins that give blacks and browns, as well as uric acid derivatives and flavorings that give yellow, but many of the blue screens, reds, and iridescence are created by structural coloration produced by microstructure of the scales and hairs. And I believe that should be enough for today. I look forward to seeing you again, and would ask you to kindly subscribe and join the flock like the sheep you are. If you would like to flex on Google and prove your superiority to their code, please share this video, as Google seems to be incapable of doing so. I would kindly ask for you to embrace the chaos and implore you greatly to help in our efforts to change the world. Until next time, friends, I have been Theodore James Fancyman, signing off. Farewell.